Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining our live session today. My name is Larissa. I'm an event planner at Reactor, joining you from Brazil. Before we start, I have some quick housekeeping. Please take a moment to read our code of conduct. We seek to provide a respectful environment for both our audience and presenters. While we absolutely encourage engagement in the chat, we ask that you please be mindful of your commentary, remain professional and on topic. The session is being recorded and will be available to view on demand here on the Reactor YouTube channel within 48 hours. Keep an eye on the chat, we'll be dropping helpful links and checking for questions for our presenter to answer. I'll now turn it over to our speaker for today, so let's welcome Niraj here and start our session.
Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to the another episode of Copilot Zero to Hero series. Today's session is all about how do you reimagine your daily work with agents, and we're going to look at how do you build your first agent. Now, before we go ahead and talk about the agenda of today, let me introduce myself. My name is Neeraj Kumar. I'm a senior technical trainer at Microsoft. Before this, I used to work as a solution architect, and I had the privilege of working in AI, infra, security, DevOps, all of these areas. And I love traveling. I love sports in general. So you'll find me playing any or all sports that you can find. And I love learning about new sports as well. I'm also joined with by Jacqueline, and she's going to be the moderator for today. And she's a lead technical trainer, and she's also an MCT. Uh, the main areas that Jacqueline focuses on is infra, dev, data, and DevOps. And you've seen a lot of posts from her on LinkedIn. So do follow both of us on LinkedIn as well, and you'll be up to speed on what we are doing all the time. Now, let's talk about the agenda of today. But before we go to the agenda, I want all of you to type in the comments or in chat where are you joining us from so that we know the demographic and people who are joining us for these sessions. Okay, now the this session is part of a series of sessions we have been running for quite some time. And if you'd like to look at the content that we discussed today and you would want to go through this content in your own time or in a self-study mode, please feel free to scan this QR code. It'll take you to this link that you see on the screen, aka.ms/, copilot and agents. And basically you will find all the content, the theory topics in this link. So definitely check out this study material. This will be really helpful for you to ramp up on all these things that we're discussing for quite some time. All right. Now let's move on to the topics of today. So we'll talk about what exactly is an agent. We'll also understand how do you work with pre-built agents. So these are the agents which are provided by Microsoft. And how do you build your own agent? We look at some real world use cases, and it's going to be a simple solution, but it'll give you some idea about the power of agents that you can work with in the Microsoft landscape. All right. Now, before we go ahead and talk about anything else, think about what an agent is. So I want all of you to take a moment and type your definition of an agent. Okay. So I'll hear from your definition and I'll give my definition of an agent as well. And we can think of an agent as a real world entity. So think of agent as a employee you're hiring, or maybe your digital assistant that you're hiring, which is able to get the power of a large language model. So it has the brain by using the LLM, and it is also able to integrate with your business processes. So think of any business process which is like a problematic business process for you right now, and how you can use an agent to solve that problem, right? So to give you a brief idea about what is an agent, agent consists of a large language model. For example, you have seen GPT-5 model, right? So that's the brain of the agent that we create. Then you also have some tasks you can assign to an agent. So I can basically assign different type of tasks. For example, critique my blog that I'm writing, or create a sales table for me, or analyze the trends for my marketing department. So all these different things you can do, or you can have different tasks that you can assign to your agents. So agent is nothing but it's a combination of your Copilot with the LLM model, and you add your business processes and workflows to it. Now, when you talk about agent, the agent can perform very simple tasks that you can see on the extreme left hand side, which is basically retrieval. Retrieval basically means you're trying to get some data from your knowledge base. Your knowledge base can be a SharePoint site that you're connected to. It can be a Word document. It can be an Excel file. It can be a PowerPoint file. So it can perform a very simple operation, which can be a retrieval. It can perform logical series of tasks. For example, you want to perform sequential tasks related to creating a marketing campaign where you're promoting a product. So it can perform those tasks for you and give you the output. Or you can create a very strong autonomous agent which can perform very complex tasks for you. With the autonomous agent, you can also call different tools. For example, you want to connect to ServiceNow, you want to connect to Jira, you want to connect to some other tool. All those connections can be made by using something called as MCP. We'll talk about some of these things in future as well, but these are different things that an agent can do. So to simplify the definition of an agent is nothing but it's a digital assistant available to you. The brain of this assistant is your Copilot. Copilot has a model which is running in the backend. That model is nothing but it can be, let's say, GPT-5, and those models get keeps on updating because as we have newer models that come up, the brain of the Copilot also gets better over time. And with these agents, you can basically perform a logical series of tasks, and you can add some knowledge sources where you can provide some more information to ground your answers so that it does not give you some random answers over the web. It gives you answers which are grounded with some knowledge. So that's an agent for you. Now, when you talk about agent, there are two types of agents that we're going to discuss today. The first type of agent that we are going to talk about is going to be pre-built agent. So these pre-built agents are built by Microsoft for you. So if you talk about a pre-built agent can be accessed by going to m365.cloud.microsoft. So you go to this web page. Once you go to this web page, on the left hand side, you see this area called all agents. And in this all agent, what you can see is you'll find bunch of agents which are pre-created for you by Microsoft. These ready-made agents make your life simple because you don't have to create something from scratch. And these are really, really helpful in your day-to-day work. We'll talk about some of the example agents as well. So once you open one of these agents, you can see it can perform different tasks for you. So there are some examples of these agents given on the screen. First agent that you can see on the extreme left hand side is a prompt coach. So how the agent respond depends on the type of question you're asking. So if you write a very good question or a very good prompt, you get a very good answer as well. So drafting prompt is also a art and a science. In order to write good prompts, what we can do is we can leverage this prompt coach. What this prompt coach can do is it can basically improve our question and give you a very good prompt that you can ask the agent. So this prompt coach helps you improve your prompts. Then you have idea coach. Idea coach can help you to brainstorm and get ideas about new things. For example, you're doing a market analysis and comparing your tea product with a tea product for some other competitor, and you want to brainstorm what the competitor is doing and why they are better than us, and you can basically bring in some of those things into your product as well, right? So with brainstorming you can basically come up with some newer ideas, and this idea coach helps you to do that. The writing coach can refine your writing. So if you're someone who loves to write blogs, or you love to write something and you want a critique who can critique your blogs, the writing coach can do that for you. Plus, it can also help you improve your pronunciation, your grammar. All these things can be done by using the writing coach. And of course, career is very, very important to all of us. Let's say if you want to switch from an IT career to a marketing career, what you should do and how you should prepare your career development plan, that can be done by using the career coach. And of course, all of us are everlasting learners. So we have to make sure we also leverage learning coach in order to learn new content and understand different topics that you're trying to learn. For example, agent. If you want to learn agents or learn more about agents, you can just go to learning coach, type a few prompts, and it'll give you some answers on how to work with these agents. Now, what we'll do is we'll basically go through some of these examples and try to think of some real world use cases. I've kept it very ad hoc open, so I'll basically come up with some examples and give you some of the um, options or answers on how you can use these pre-built agents. So let's go to the demo. So in order to get to this page, you have to type this URL on your browser, m365.cloud.microsoft.com. When you type this onto your URL or onto your browser, you'll be taken to this page and you have to sign in with the account where you have been assigned a Copilot license. Some of the features that I'm going to show you, these can also be accessed without a Copilot license as well. Okay. So you can access Copilot on your browser. You can also access Copilot on your desktop application. So if you see at the bottom of my screen, there's also a desktop application for this. And if you want, you can also access Copilot on your mobile. So if you're traveling from some place, you can just type something in your mobile Copilot. The same data will get synced to your browser Copilot and your app Copilot to basically further work on the same idea. So if you're commuting from home to office and if you're ideating on something, all that data is also available to you on the browser as well. Now, if you see on the left hand side, there's an expand navigation button available to you over here. So you click on this button. Once you click on this button, you see a bunch of agents pinned over here. So what I've done is I've pinned these agents, but when you first log into this page, you'll not see all of these agents pinned for you. So how do you pin an agent over here? So the first thing that you do is you go to all agents, and under all agents, what you do is you essentially look for the agents which are pre-created for you. So we have some agents which are built by Microsoft, and you can see researcher agent, you can see analyst agent, you can see prompt coach, writing coach, idea coach, and career coach. Similarly, you have a bunch of other agents as well. We'll not be deep diving into every agent that we see here, but these are some other options you can explore in your own time. Now, what you'll see is if I want to add this agent to my pin, or if I want to pin this agent, or if I want to add it to my favorites, what I do is I go to one of these agents, and this career coach is not added to my pinned list. So how do you add it? You click on add, and what it does is it will start showing this agent on the extreme left hand side that you see over here. So once you click on add, it adds the agent for you on the screen. So you see career coach is added for me. Now, if I want to basically pin this career coach, I can also pin it to the top so that all the agents that I use frequently will be at the same place. Okay. So now, once you see this agent, what you can do is you can see some meta prompts shown to you. So if you want to build a career development plan, you want to analyze your skill gaps, you want to learn something new. For example, I want to move from a training role to a solution architect role. What are the learning opportunities for me? What are the things that I should study? All these example prompts are given to you as soon as you create uh, this agent. Now, what you do is, for example, if I want to create a career development plan, I click on this and it automatically types a prompt for me. Help me create a detailed career development plan based on my current role and future goals. And I can provide some context to this. For example, I am a technical trainer who wants to move into marketing domain. Okay. So when you hit enter, it will start talking to your GPT-5 model. That's the brain of your Copilot, and it starts giving you some answers over here. First, clearly clarify your target role. What exact role within marketing you want? Assess your current skills versus marketing skills. Do you have strong communication or not? Do you have strong presentation skills or not? Similarly, look for a career development plan or start creating a career development plan. And look for company support. Do you have an opportunity to internally move within your organization or not? So all these things are given to you over here. And what you can do is you can further refine it and you can ask more relevant questions, which will help you to get a better output. Now, I asked a random question and I got this answer. But what if I want to write a good prompt? So what I can do is I can go to Idea Coach, or yeah, I can go to Prompt Coach. Let's go to Prompt Coach first. And let's say what I want to do is I want to improve the prompt that I asked. I asked for career guidance, but let's say if I want a better prompt. So let's say I want to move from IT department to marketing department. Help me write a good prompt to create a career development plan. Okay, so this is the prompt I'm going for. So as soon as you type this prompt, what it'll do is it'll start basically looking at the best practices of writing a good prompt. So if you want to write a good prompt, the first thing that you should always look at is what is your goal that you want to achieve, what is the context, what is the source, and what is the expectation you have. All these four things should be there in your prompt that you're going for. Now, when you do this, what it'll do is it'll create a plan. What do you want to do? So it'll ask you more questions. And as you answer these questions, what it'll do is it'll start improving the overall prompt that you can type in order to create the career plan. Okay. So let's say if I say, show me a generic example prompt for this requirement, it will create a good prompt for me that I can directly use in my use case. So goal is create a detailed career plan for transitioning from IT to marketing role. Context is I'm currently working as a, you define your skill, and then I have strong technical skills but limited marketing experience. What are the sources? So let's say you may provide your resume, and using that resume, you can basically create the career development plan. And then you get the final prompt created for you over here. So Prompt Coach can help you refine your prompt by using these four things: goal, context, source, and expectation, right? Similarly, what I've done is I've written this article over here. Okay. So I have written an article talking about mastering the AZ-104 exam. So there's a persona called Golu. Golu has to try and prepare for AZ-104 and pass this exam. If you read this article, this is published on Tech Community. We'll share the link later on. So you can find all these details over here where you can find how do you prepare for the exam, what are the best strategies you should use, right? So at the time of writing this article, I used the writing coach a lot, which helped me to improve this article. So what you do is, in order to improve your article, what you can do is you can go back to your Copilot, and on your Copilot, what you do is first you upload your data or files to OneDrive. So what you do is, for example, if I go here, I have a OneDrive over here. On my OneDrive, I have uploaded this file called AZ-104 article. So the article that I wrote over there, I've uploaded it to OneDrive. Now, all of these services or apps you see over here, be it OneDrive, be it Outlook, be it Excel, all of these are connected to each other using Graph. And the Graph API is connected to your Copilot as well. Now, if I want to bring that document and I want to critique my article, what I can do is I can go to this writing coach over here. And in my writing coach, what I can do is I can ask a question like this. So I've already written a prompt just to speed up the process of giving you the output. So the prompt is, you're a critique blog, you're a constructive blog critic. Review the blog attached, evaluate the blog plots, characters, and pacing. If the story is well written and complete, you must respond with exact phrase as approved. Otherwise, provide 2 to 3 specific actionable suggestions for improving my blog. So that's the prompt I'm writing. Now, what you can do is after you write this prompt, if you add // what it does is it looks at all of your data and you have this files area available to you. In your files, you can actually look at that article which is uploaded to OneDrive. If you don't have the file already on OneDrive, so if you have the file on OneDrive, you can attach it like this, just a / and the file name. If you don't have the file here, you can also upload data from your local machine from here. So I can click on upload images and files, upload something from my local files as well. If you want, you can also directly attach the files using OneDrive. How is it able to get all of this data? This is able to get all of this data because we talk to Graph API. Graph API has your login details because you've logged in with the same account in Copilot and in all the other M365 apps that we are accessing. When you run this, what it'll do is it'll go through the article and it'll basically find out what are the improvements or things that you can do to write a better blog. So it talks about the strengths of my blog. It talks about some of the areas of improvement as well. So I can improve on character consistency. So Gogulu has been basically been the central persona, but it may be missing in some steps. So what I can do is I can go back, improve my article, come back here, and basically write my article or basically work on my article from here. So this is something that you can do in order to improve your article using the writing coach. Now the researcher and analyst, researcher is your consultant. So any topic that you want to do research on, your researcher can help you with that. So for example, you have some documents. Let me give you an example here. So I have this prompt that I've already run. I'll just quickly show you the output. So what I've done is I've uploaded some files in my OneDrive, and this is the file over here. Okay. So we have some go-to-market plan and we have an EV charger that we want to do sales on. So in order to analyze that EV charger data, what I've done is I want to create a marketing plan for our sprint cycle EV charger launch. Emphasize its air-powered adaptive charging module design. Make sure to include recommendations on the right digital channels, include insight for competitor and our GTM campaigns, and basically give me some research on this overall product. So what it does is the researcher will ask you some follow-up questions. In these follow-up questions, I can basically answer it. And what it'll do is it'll start creating the end-to-end plan. So what should be your sprint cycle? What should be your strategic pillars? How you should do improve the B2C, B2B collaboration? How should you, what is the market and product overview? So it researches all the things for you and gives you the final output on the screen. So you keep on asking more and more questions, and it basically gives you some of the competitor analysis, SWOT analysis, all those things can be done by researcher. So if you want a consultant who can research on topics, you go with researcher. But if you want an analyst or a data scientist who can actually look at your files and analyze your data. So for example, we have this Boulder EV bike data over here. And if I show you this data, it talks about some of the internal marketing forecast that we can do with our bikes. All this data is available to you. So if I want to analyze this data, what I do is I go to my Copilot, and on my Copilot, I can just run one of these things which I've already run. So for example, I want to do Contoso chai tea analysis. So I want to identify some of the data which is there. I want to create trend charts. All of these things I want to create. So I've run this prompt. Summarize the key trends in this Excel file. So you provide any file over here. What it does, it takes a lot of time to go through the file, and then it starts creating these charts for you. So it'll give you sales trends, which is the most popular tea product that you have, right? It shows you some customer preferences. Where is the sales distribution going for, right? Digital versus, let's say, online sales versus social media engagement. So it gives you some comparative charts as well. Plus, it gives you some metrics. So if you want to correlate with your sales and maybe the number of units sold, all those correlation metrics can also should be shown to you by using the analyst. So researcher gives you detailed research. Analyst uses Python and it uses data science in order to give you detailed output on your data. So if you want to analyze something, go with analyst. If you want to research something, go with researcher. Now, all of these topics and all of these examples that I've given you, these are pre-built prompts that we have. But what if you're going to say, oh, Neeraj, you have talked about so many pre-built agents. What if I want to create an agent of my own? I want to create an agent from scratch. How do I go about it? If you want to create an agent of your own, you have the capability of creating a custom agent. To build a custom agent, you again go back to create an agent area. And what you do is you start with a template. So if you don't have any idea of how to create an agent, you can start with any of the given number of templates that we have. Otherwise, you can just start chatting with the agent and it'll start creating the agent for you. So let's see this in action, how this is done. So what you do is you again go back to the same URL, m365.cloud.microsoft.com. And over here, what you see is there is create agent button available to you. Now, before I create this agent, I want to show you a file. So I have this expense policy file with me, and usually we travel a lot as trainers. So in order to reimburse our travel related things, we just have to refer to a HR policy. Problem with this is I have to manually go ahead and find the HR policies and see what is the limit of my travel. So what is the guideline related to travel? What is the guideline related to accommodation, right? So you can only spend $150 per night. For meals, you can spend up to $50 per day. For entertainment, you can only spend $100 per day. All of these things I have to figure out from different files that I have in my environment. What if I can automate this and create an agent that can do all of these things for me? So to do this, what you do is you can either upload this policy to a OneDrive, or what you do is you click on create a new agent. So you click on create a new agent. And what you do is you ask or you type a prompt that I want to create a expense claims agent. So what you type is, I want to create an expense claims agent that can help me understand claims and HR guidelines in my organization. Now, one more important thing that you should note is if I start with a template, you go to describe and you have a config section. In the describe section, you have a bunch of example templates available to you. So career coach, customer insight coach, all of these agents or the templates that are available to you, you can leverage them and modify them according to your business need as well. But I'll go create something from scratch so that you can see all the process end to end. So I run this, and what it'll do is it'll start creating the agent for me. So it takes about a minute for this to get created. And what you'll see is this right side will start getting updated for me. And there's also auto saving that is happening for me. So what you see is it has already created some agent preview, and you see some prompts which are available to me. How do I submit my expense claim? Allowed expense limits, documentation requirement. All these things are given to me. Now for the name, I'm going to go with, let's say, Contoso expense claims agent. Okay, that's the name we are going for. Now, as soon as you type this name, what you'll see is on the right hand side, you'll see an updated name as well. Currently, we don't have any name over here, but on the right hand side, you will see an updated name shown to you in a second. Okay. All right. So now the agent name has been updated to Contoso expense agent. Okay. Now what I can do is I want to bring that file to my agent. So what you can do is I can go to this section called configure. So I'm clicking on this section, and once you click on configure, you can see the name of the agent. I can upload a picture for the agent. You can see all the instructions, how this agent is behaving. So I can update these guidelines and instructions according to my needs. Then you have something called as knowledge. This knowledge helps you to ground your agent. So what you can do is I can click on upload from a device. And here what I can do is I can upload the expense policy document that I have locally. What this is going to do is this is going to ground my data and bring that data as a knowledge for my agent. If I scroll down, you can see other capabilities. I can create images with it. I can also connect to Word. I can connect to Excel. I can connect to PowerPoint and bring some of those capabilities into my agent as well. Plus all these suggested prompts you see on the right hand side, these prompts can also be updated from this screen as well. Okay. Once you're happy with it, now I can ask some questions. What is the what is the expense policy on meals? Okay. So you ask this question, and what it does is it starts processing your request. And in a second, what you'll see is you'll see an output of how this agent is fetching you the data from the document. And from the document, you can see the limit for the meal is $50 per day. And just to confirm, you can go back to this and you can see meal policy is $50 per day. Once you're happy with it, you click on create. And what it does is it creates an agent for you, and that agent will be available to you on the left hand side. So I pre-created a Fabricam agent and I can pin it to my dashboard as well. So I'll just click on create and this will create it in my background. And basically your agent will be ready for you to use. So start creating your own agents. Think of any use case and bottlenecks that you're currently facing and build these agents. All right. Let's switch back to our PowerPoint. Just a quick reminder, you can go back to all of the learning material that we have discussed on this. And there are much more or many more examples that you can see on these links. And you can go through all those examples from these links. Thank you for attending the session. This is Neeraj, and I'm joined by Jacqueline as the moderator. Uh, Also, we have an upcoming session coming on 20th of November at 6 a.m. PT. Definitely join that as well, where we talk about some of the business automation things that we are going to discuss. Thank you so much for your time. We'll see you in the next session.
Thank you. Thank you, Niraj. Thank you, Jacqueline, for the moderation in the chat. And thank you all for joining our live stream. Here at the Reactor, we are always looking to improve our sessions and our experience. So if you have any feedback for us, we'd love to hear what you have to say. You can find the link for the survey on the QR code on the screen or in the chat, and we'll see you in the next one.